everyone. Hey guys, how are y'all doing? So, I'm going to give it a few minutes until I see more of y'all join me. It still says live video is Hello everyone. How are y'all doing today? I hope you guys can hear me loud and clear. And today we are going to discuss yet another very important topic. And so, as usual, I'm going to give it a few more minutes until I see more of you all join me. I see one. So, how have you all been? How's your weekend been? How has the week been? I know Mercury retrograde is going to be over in another couple of days, so then there'll be clear communication and things will be back to normal. Hi, Amy. How are you doing today? I hope everything is well with you. Just keep. Hey, Melanie, how are you? I hope you all are well. Please feel free to send in your comments, sharing with me how your week has been. That's good. That's good. You know, Mercury retrograde is coming to an end, so things will start to improve. So that's really good to hear. So, are you guys all excited about today's topic? Because that's the hardest thing to do, truly. Hi, Samantha. Hi, MJ. Hi, Keita. Hi, Lorinda. Hi, Amy. All right, I think we have got a good group, so we can go right into the topic today. Why is it essential to give our DM space? Because if there is no space given, you see, you guys have to first view what is giving space. A lot of DFs in the initial stages tend to be quite egocentric. So they will be like, oh, I'm giving them space because I want to play this game. Less communication, more attention, and then they start reading human love manuals on how to get a guy. But in a twin flame relationship, all that doesn't work. When you are giving space, it means you are really giving space, which means you're truly detaching from your divine masculine and actually focusing on yourself and your growth and your life, and completely viewing yourself as a separate person, rather than a whole. And that is the purpose on earth, to actually experience that separation. Hi, Ariella. Hi, Laura. So happy to see you all. You guys are such a great mix of people. So I was just starting off on today's topic. So for those of you all who just joined me, welcome and hope you guys are having a great, great, great week. So, yes, I've been talking about why it is essential to give your divine masculine space and how it actually inspires your own soul growth and evolution. And that's why today's topic is so fun and interesting. Oh dear. Yeah, so sometimes that's what happens when you tap a lot onto your DM. You start feeling them, feeling everything that's going on in their lives, and that does affect your energies too. And that's why it's vital to draw boundaries sometimes. Anyway, back to topic. Giving space is such a soul inspiring journey for divine feminines because, like I explained earlier, as I was starting off, you can't just fake it, like giving space, like cutting them off or not thinking of it. Doesn't happen that way. It has to be in line with your soul growth and evolution, and vice versa. Hi, Linda. Good to see you too. So, back on the topic. So, that is the reason why you have to truly be detached to your divine masculine. And when you are giving them space, you give them complete space, not secretly looking at their social media or obsessively thinking about them for hours. That doesn't mean you can't still communicate with your higher self, but you guys have to change the vibration like when you think of your divine masculine, because a lot of DFs, what happens is they will be like, okay, I'm going to give my divine masculine space, but then they will still keep having all these negative feelings, or feelings of loss or grief, or feelings of yearning, or and you know what, your DM feels that, and that's why when you give them space, you give them complete space, you give them freedom, by not even thinking about them or yearning for them or pining for them. And that is the hardest thing to do. And usually that is the step that determines when you're going to unite with your divine masculine, because when you're completely free and detached from your divine masculine, which is kind of a test from God as well, um, in building your own identity as a separate soul in this dimension. It is truly a soul expanding experience as well. Hi, Colleen. Good to see you. Hi, Amber. So, yeah. So, when that happens, when you give that ultimate gap and space, what happens is change happens. You and your DM are completely not in touch, but in a very positive sense, because twin flames can never be separated. They're always in union in other dimensions, in higher dimensions. So essentially, in 3D, when you don't use your earth mind to actually think about your divine masculine starts to wonder, hey, what is this? Like, I'm not feeling my divine feminine at all. Like, what is happening? And that's when it triggers them to look within and reflect as to what has been happening. And that is the time they can truly spend in privacy thinking about what they share with you, their divine feminine. So while the divine feminine is completely detached from their divine masculine, it is at that point when the divine feminine starts focusing on other aspects of her life too. So she starts taking care of herself, she starts living life, like focusing on other aspects, instead of just pining over the divine masculine connection. They look at all the other things like loved ones, career, even self-care routine, or even doing stuff like mountain climbing or something that they are passionate about. And that shift is really, really what kickstarts the soul evolution process. So it could be anything. It could be starting a new degree program, or and then after that you would realize, after a while you get used to that independence, that independence from your divine masculine. But you can still have that healthy kind of communication with their higher self, but not try to overly obsess with their third dimensional self. Yes, this topic is very much in support of those experiencing separation, and it's often those who are in separation who are in this kind of forums anyway. I mean, twin flames are in union. They are often in a very zen kind of state. So yes, Linda, absolutely. So ideally, it is really hard to completely detach, and I explained, it's not about just not looking at their social media, or not, it's completely shifting your energies from being in that zone where you're not thinking about them. And that is hard, and that's what I'm going to help you guys today. So one of the steps is to truly focus on something that you're truly passionate about besides your divine masculine, which is hard for those in a twin flame journey, because your whole life circulates around the twin flame journey. But sometimes you have to take a step away in order to evolve. If you keep obsessing on your divine masculine, what happens is your energies and your vibrations start to go extremely down. And that's when you start attracting 3D, um, 3D, even 2D sort of vibrations like fear, mistrust, low self confidence, fear. Ultimately, what happens is when you obsess too much, you are in a state of fear. You're in a state that, oh no, what if I never get to be with my divine masculine? Why aren't they not talking to me? Why are they not communicating with me? Why am I not seeing a sign? Why? And that further pushes you down into a lower state of vibration. And that's what we are trying to do, like not get into that vibration. And that is when the gap between your DM and yourself widens even more. So, having said that, you have to always look at your vibrations, and you will be able to tell that pretty much. And that's why when you actually start working on what vibration you are vibrating on, it really changes the game with your twin flame ascension process, because you are truly anchored to your personal calling on earth. Hi Tamara, hi Shay, lovely to see you all. Thanks for joining in. Yeah, so today we are talking about why is it necessary to give your DM space. And thanks, MJ, for that. Yep. So going back to that, these are the reasons why you give your divine masculine space, because self growth and soul evolution is very important for divine feminines to truly fulfill their purpose here on earth. So you have to really, really, really detach from the notion that being with your twin flame is your ultimate purpose. There are so many other purposes, and ultimately, it is it is everything that creates union with your divine masculine. And when I'm saying that is when you start living from 5D onwards, when you start viewing life differently. And in separation, it's really hard because the human doubt, which I have spoken about in my previous videos, it's very real. So you start doubting this journey, you start doubting everything that goes along with this journey. You wonder, why is it that you're feeling this way? Why? There's a lot of why and how. And that's why I'm asking you guys to shift away from that and actually focus in the present. Like, what is it in the present that actually makes you happy? Is it could be anything. It could be just looking at the stars at night, that ignites a certain spark and joy in you. Or it could be self exploration work, learning about yourself, like watching documentaries or watching things that actually feed your soul and empower you, and also working on yourself, healing your trauma. A lot of divine feminines tend to meet their twin very earlier on, and then they go through a huge separation because it is often related to the trends of that generation as well. So example, twins who are in separation um, between 60s to 90s, it was a society where everyone was getting married. So often when the first separation takes place, they often move on and start building their own families. Whereas in in the generations after the 90s, there is a lot more there's a lot more gap and growth there, because individuals are not forced into getting married or having children. I mean, the pressure is still there, but the younger generation are more informed when they make choices. So that's why the older generation twin flames and the younger generation twin flames are actually on the same level in terms of coming into union as well. So you may wonder, hey, for the older generation twin flips, they'll be like, hey, I experienced like a 20-year separation, and then this younger twin flame, she's already in union. So you guys can't really compare because it is in line with what happens to your circumstances and your surroundings as well. There's this collective trend that comes and goes. And if you realize that a lot of these rainbow, crystal, indigo children who are born, they are born awake with chakras that are activated as well. So the older generation twins are usually the indigo wave, and they come in to actually create what we are experiencing today. That level of freedom, that level of flexibility. So every generation brings in a certain vibration and wave that enhances Earth eventually. So that's the reason why working on yourselves are so important in anchoring the light and always being aware of um, what level you're vibrating on. So it's quite easy, when you're like feeling happy, always try to see like what is the source of your happiness. If it's related to something material, then it's going to be quite challenging because then you're always reliant on something. For example, shopping makes people happy. So it becomes addictive because every time you want to feel happy, you end up buying something. And then you crash because eventually you're like, why did I buy that item? So you need to create the happiness that's sustainable, that's from within, that is from being inspired by yourselves. And that's how you also build a healthy communication with your divine masculine in the higher dimensions. So which is something that I talk about as well, communicating with your divine masculine in 5D, like talking to their higher selves instead of trying to constantly think about what their physical self or the 3D self is doing. So in that way you kind of enhance your vibration, and you're also not too obsessed with what is going on in their life, and you actually have a very healthy communication with their higher selves, and you have no expectation. Essentially, when you build that healthy gap between your twin and yourself, it is an opportunity for a lot of self growth and evolution. And because of that, you are truly, truly preparing yourself for union with your twin. And that union happens in multi dimensional levels and phases and times. And you also don't want to be getting into a quickened union with your twin having not awakened yourself. You get what I mean? Then you would end up just like the movie, before sunset, after sunset, and the third one where they still have their couple fights. You want to be fully awakened and enlightened when you are in union with your divine masculine, and that is a completely different experience. And as souls, that is what you guys have signed up for, to have the ultimate love experience, not only romantic but completely holistic. Just going to quickly look at some questions before I go to the second part of this discourse. All right, Brittany. Hey, that's all right. You can always watch this video again from the start. I'm so glad, Melanie, you're doing well. Oh, yeah. Awakening really brings you to the dark night of the soul. Awakening is not for the faint hearted because it is like catharsis. You're getting rid of everything that no longer serves you, like past lives, 3D planet, incurred karmic debt, everything. And you are basically becoming pure again. So pure. So there's this analogy that a lot of spiritual teachers like to use, which is you cannot truly unite with your soul when you are still muddied, or if you are not healed. And 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 that is like example, water is the clearest form of liquid, right? But when you add coffee or anything, then it becomes tainted. Same thing, certain experiences taint your soul vibrations, and that's why ultimately when you dilute them and when you try to remove them, distill them, and you separate the particles and get rid of them, that's when you're truly able to embrace your soul journey and be in union with your divine masculine. But again, having said that, every twin flame experience is unique. So you don't have to be in that ultimate state of super vibration before you're going to unite with your twin either. So it works like that, you know. So twins are born as humans and then they meet their twin flame, and then that triggers their superhuman experience. So that's when from a normal human being you guys become a superhuman being in your own right. And when you are at that stage, that's when the divine wedding or union happens, you know. And you want to be in that state because without realizing your fullest potential, if you unite, then you're going to have combined issues to figure out. And in the twin flame experience, what happens is it intensifies because you have something called mirroring. So everything intensifies, and that's why there's so much of like separation, and there's because the energies are just too intense. Just like the movie Hancock, you know, like Will Smith didn't figure out his issues, and that's why his divine feminine couldn't be with him. Instead, she married someone and she had a child with a soulmate. And they also realize that when they are unawakened and when they are together, they become vulnerable to one another. And you don't want that level of vulnerability, especially when you are on earth at this point of time, massively trying to aid in the earth's vibration. Oh, no worries, Linda. You can always watch this again. Yes, Melanie, you are an indigo twin on the cusp. You, Samantha, you would often know like which wave you are on, whether you're indigo, rainbow, or crystal. Yeah, you would feel the differences. So indigos are usually 60s to 80s, um, or even 90s, and then 90s onwards it's rainbow crystal. So in terms of the year you're born as well, you'll be able to figure that out. Yes, Lorinda, the best growth periods seem to happen in those separation periods. Yes, and that's why separation, I don't even want to use the word necessary, then it becomes very 3D. Separation phases are good because you are really forced to look within instead of excuse excuse me. So yes, what happens is essentially you guys tend to evolve in your own accord, and that is what raises your vibration, and that is what eventually places you in a position where you'll no longer be even asking, will I be in union with my twin, will I it's the 3D notions of pressure that causes people to, oh no, I have to get married to my twin by then. I have to have kids. I have to do this. I have to do that. I have to. And that have to in itself is bringing your vibration down to like completely a lower state of expectation. And that is also another reason why some twins end up with their soulmates too, because they realize that their divine masculine is not ready for that kind of commitment or that kind of experience they want to experience on earth. And Hancock is a good movie to actually illustrate that experience. So, and and another point that I wanted to also touch is like another analogy would be the Adjustment Bureau. So in that movie, Matt Damon meets his twin Emily Blunt just before he's going to give a speech. And that speech is like the best speech he has ever given, and he goes on being elected as a politician. And then he is looking for her for like ages and ages, and for that very reason he takes the same bus like for 3 years hoping to bump into her. But then there are actually other forces, trying to keep them in separation, because as individuals they are more powerful. And again, towards the end of the movie, you will realize that they would actually meet with God, and then God would actually tell them it has all been a test, and now they are gifted with free will. And as human beings, we are all gifted with free will. The issue is sometimes human beings do not know how to use their free will, and they end up, triggering wars, etc. So that's when the angels intervene, and you have higher dimensional forces. And in that movie, if you truly watch it, you would realize there's a lot of wisdom. And one of it is that separation was necessary for both the protagonists, because that is when they truly grew. Both of them touched the higher echelons of their career progression, and they also had the time to truly heal and evolve. And so eventually when they get together, they were at a point where they were balanced, and all they wanted was just to be with each other, and at the same time they were successful in their own right, having fulfilled their earth experience as well. And for some twins, it might not be in their soul journey to be in physical union. So they are always going to be in other dimensional unions, like. So that is also, so always remember that not all twins are going to be in physical union. And it goes back to what you guys had decided as souls before watching it. Yes, Hancock hit hard before I knew I was a twin. And also the Notebook was such a, yeah, Notebook again. That's a wonderful Twinflame movie. And really, some movies, like, it's so interesting how some movies in Hollywood has got that twin flame theme. Even the latest Matrix movie, they were trying to inspire that twin flame connection between both the characters, and it was beautiful, because ultimately you realize that how they both evolved, and they were able to wake up from the matrix out of their own free will. And free will is necessary, and that's the reason. Going back to that, you see, in the previous matrix movies, it was the divine feminine that was trying to awaken the divine masculine, and then in the latest matrix movie it became vice versa. It's the divine masculine who goes back in to try to awaken his divine feminine. But if you notice, in all the movie, there is free will. Even though they are one soul, they had to make their own decision to come out of the matrix. So that's the same thing. You cannot force your divine masculine to wake up. And that can be the most painful and saddening and soul ripping thing for the awakened twin. But having said that, you cannot give up hope. And that's why you have to be praying to God, and completely be in tune with the cosmos to truly understand what is happening around you. So yeah, guys, do spend your days watching twin flame movies. I would recommend a few. I always recommend Hancock and the Adjustment Bureau. So yeah, back to the topic of today is, why is a gap essential? And this was the reasons that I had said, like, truly being able to grow and evolve in your own right. You don't want to be in union with your twin when you're half evolved, or when you are like still dealing with childhood trauma, past life issues. It becomes very heavy and intensify, and it's truly not healthy for twin flames to be in union when they are not awakened. And that's why having that time and space to grow is very important. And those of you who are on the journey awaken and working on themselves would understand this, and those who are starting off the journey would feel very uncomfortable when I speak about this. It's because they are just like trying to figure out, why do I even have to go through this? Why can't it be just easy? If you want easy, choose a human relationship, then you will have guaranteed husband, guaranteed children, guaranteed everything. But again, you might not have that fulfillment that you are searching for, which only in a divine kind of love you could truly experience. And also, when people rush into getting married for the sake of society, they deprive the person of truly finding their divine counterpart or mate. So that could be a twin flame or a soulmate as well. So that's why, guys, always make informed decisions. Don't rush into anything. Always have your connection with God and seek guidance from God. And that is essential. And the reason why I use God, because, you know, to each its own, different religions, different mediums of spirituality. The important thing is, when you are centered, balanced, and connected to the divine, you are in alignment with living your best life and being, um, living your best life and being in alignment with things around you. And you will have that spiritual wisdom and maturity to actually understand, even though your 3D self may anchor you down and tell you, oh no, why am I feeling the way I'm feeling? And it can even drive you to madness, because that energies can be very triggering. Twin flame separation energies can be very triggering. At the same time, karmics do have the same effect as well. So that's why it's important to identify that connection, whether it's karmic or whether it's twin flame. Twin flame is same soul split into two, whereas karmic are different people. Um, yes, Lorinda, I completely agree. Once you meet your twin, you can never revert back into an ordinary relationship. And true enough, you won't have the opportunities to see, like, it's divinely orchestrated, ultimately it's all guided by the divine to a great extent. So if you force yourself into an ordinary relationship, it backfires as well, because you still yearn for your twin. And that's why I feel it's unfair to that person you're with, because you can never love them the way you love your twin flame. But at the same time, life has to happen. You need to experience what you want to experience. How do we know if our twin is awakened? Oh, you will be able to, when you are awakened yourself, you'll be able to experience it and feel it, whether your twin is awakened or not. You can actually, when you are a awakening divine feminine, you would actually be able to tell exactly what stage of evolution or soul growth your divine masculine is. And that's why those healthy divine feminines tend to give a lot of space to their divine masculine, because there's no point talking to someone who chooses not to um, awaken to higher dimensional experiences, because they want to experience earth as it is, and there is no judgment or anything. You have signed up to be in a third dimensional planet, and why would you walk away from that? So for some divine masculines, they choose to experience or enjoy life on 3D, and you cannot force them to awaken. Just like the Matrix movie, Neo couldn't force Trinity to leave her family and her kids out of free will. She needed to awaken for herself to that connection with Neo, and vice versa. When Neo was stuck in the 3D, and when Trinity goes there, Trinity couldn't force Neo. It was out of his own choice that he decided to wake up from the Matrix. So it's the same thing. You cannot force your divine masculine to just wake up. And if it's a karmic connection, then completely you are on the wrong path, because you keep thinking that, oh, that person has to, my karmic has to evolve. Karmics are also very interesting, which I spoke about last week. Not all karmic connections are negative. People have this misjudgment that they are negative. For some karmics, it's they are meant to be together because they couldn't be together in a past lifetime and there was ultimate yearning. So the divine actually curates that experience to be together in this lifetime. Another thing is, a lot of people want to be on a twin flame journey because it's popular and it's cool. The truth is, it is not for the faint hearted, and twin flames are very, very rare as well. At the same time, you don't want to harbor that ego. Oh, I'm rare, I'm powerful. And then you descend again, and you don't want to descend because then union becomes extremely far. So it's all a soul growth experience, and the amount of evolution that you guys actually go through is immense. Like, I can never emphasize or elaborate on how much twin flames actually evolve when they are in separation. It's truly like one of a kind experience. They actually see their souls. Like, many people are afraid to even look at their own soul, because they're so afraid to look within. And that's why human beings are constantly externalizing their experiences, constantly. Oh, if you like, your friend gets married, they want to get married. If they're having kids, they want to have kids. If they're in that career, there's so much competition and so much. It's like it becomes a point where there's no joy, or there is no joy in the experience anymore. It becomes a very robotic. And that's why the latest Matrix movie is actually a parody of current society, because people are just working, living, they're just merely existing, and they don't even have time to search within and explore what their soul truly wants. And like MJ says, once you say the word karmic, people automatically get scared because they don't understand it's just unfinished business from past life. Unless they treat them really bad, then they need to break the cycle. MJ, you said it so perfectly. And unfinished business is, you're given the opportunity. You got to be grateful to God and the universe for actually giving you that experience to live out that desire that was unfulfilled. So there is nothing wrong with karmic. And again, karma is a very 3D based experience. And that's why people can only live out their karma in a 3D planet or on a 3D experience, because karma is invalid in higher dimensional planets. So when you're in higher dimensions, there is no karma. Karma is 3D and beyond. And that's the reason why, you know, religions always say the kingdom of heaven and you're forgiven, because when you actually go up to that state, you don't carry any more karma. And karma is just, you know, exercising what you were not able to exercise in a previous lifetime. Whereas twin flame journey is completely different to that. Twin flame journey is you uniting with your soul after experiencing life as a separate soul for eons of time. All right, I'm going to look at some questions, and I'll also take some question, guys. So feel free to ask me. Let me just quickly look at my phone. I've been receiving messages since morning. Just quickly, guys, go on with your questions, and I will be back in a minute. So ultimately, it's about, I have used this term before, hacking the vibes. So if you can vibrate in a very pure, soulful, joyful level, then things would just flow and you will be divinely guided, and you won't. And twins, okay, one of the biggest missteps is being fixated at the notion of being in union in the physical. And most divine feminines think that is how they become complete. But if you do not become complete on your own right, you are never going to be in union with your divine masculine, is because that is one of the reasons, or one of the purposes of a divine feminine, is to become complete in her own right. And when the divine feminine becomes complete, she becomes radiant, she becomes beautiful, she becomes a goddess in her own right. It's just, she rekindles the inner goddess within her. And that was what inspired me to start my page, rekindling the inner goddess as well. So it's ultimately, that is what makes the divine feminine whole. And when she becomes whole, and then nothing affects her. When she becomes whole, she becomes powerful, she becomes she starts living her highest potential. And that's what a divine feminine has to ultimately aspire to. And that is the true feeling of union, feeling union within. And when you feel union within, it projects and it externalizes, and physical union actually happens. So it's like two human beings becoming superhuman beings and then uniting as a divine twin flame couple. I can't give you a better analogies than that. And that's why it's like a test. And that's why you have to always watch your vibrations and play it cool. Yes, it's brutally like, seriously, I picked all this. Agreed. For me, it's more spiritual connection, less physical, as you know, Amy. That's why I like this group and how you focus on going label free. There isn't a medal anyone gets for being TF. The medal is becoming who you are meant to be. Amy, thank you for that. You've you've explained it and said it so beautifully. And that's the reason why, guys, every week I'm telling you guys, go label free. Carrying on that twin flame label is actually more of a burden, and it does affect your soul growth. When you become label free, you actually progress in your soul evolutionary journey in a much quicker pace. So that's why go label free. And ultimately, that is what's going to help you create the best life for yourself, and you become the best version of yourself too. Whether it's a twin flame or soulmate or a brand new connection or a karmic with unfinished business, start looking at all relationships in a beautiful manner. Only when you attain that level of wisdom and maturity will you truly become the best version of yourself. And only then, from a human being, you'll become a superhuman being and discover who you are within a soul level. And even star seeds fall into the trap. You see, it's like this immense human being thinks that they are just a seed. And that's what happens when you're on earth. You are born with amnesia. You don't know who you are on a soul level. That's why having that knowledge, gaining that knowledge, evolving and being inspired, these are things that will help you become the best version of yourself. And guys, become the best version of yourself and everything will fall in place. If you're on a twin flame journey, you will be with your divine masculine. If you're on any other journey as well, to truly live your best life, become the best version of yourself. Constantly. Samantha, I'm very blessed to have met my TF and also my soulmate whom I'm married to. Why have both in this lifetime? Yeah, you see, different souls have different soulmates, and I mean, sorry, different soul plans. And sometimes it's just a test. It's ultimately you making that decision that suits your life ultimately. Exactly, Lorinda. I keep saying it isn't like we are going to win an Emmy Award just because we are a twin. Exactly. In fact, being a twin flame can be one of the most loneliest, hardest, soul ripping. It's not for the faint hearted, and it's not for those who are not able to tolerate intense experiences either. Soulmate, it's like going on a roller coaster or putting yourself in a washing machine and coming out. That's how intense it is. All right, Ariala, I know our TF spiritually isn't always gone, but can they step away in the 5D as well? Is that the pulling away? Yes, you can step away in 5D as well, and that pulling away will also enhance your experience because that is 100% detachment, and 100% detachment, you would see a lot of results when you're completely detached to your twin flame in all levels, in all dimensions. You will actually see an intense shift when you come back and connect with their 5D selves again. There will be a different rhythm to it and a different magic to it. You could try it, just try it for a week, like completely tell yourself, I am detaching, I'm detaching detaching to my what's wrong with my pronunciation, my detaching with my twin flame in even in the in in 5D, and you will see that you will see a huge difference. So truly focus on yourself and become the best version of yourself. Go label free. These are key ingredients in living your best life. All right, guys, I'm here to take questions. Until then, I'll keep talking about today's topic and why soul growth and becoming the best version of yourselves truly happens when you're truly detached your twin in a very healthy way, not like I'm angry with my twin, I'm not going to talk to them, or in a spiteful way, I don't want to be with my twin anymore, I'm marrying someone else and moving on, and then you keep thinking about your twin anyway. These are all unhealthy expressions. But again, do not criticize yourself for that because everything is an experience if you were to look at it from a higher perspective. So no judgment on yourself. Always, always, always focus on becoming the best version of you, the kind, caring, contributing to society, living your best life, showing kindness. Yes, you can detach in 5D as well. You can detach in any dimensional level as long as you're in the physical planes of existence, if that's what Ariala is asking. And the DM can detach as well. But after a certain level, then okay. Let me organize this information in this way. So, at any stage, it is within you to be able to detach or not detach. And because you are living a 3D experience, everything that you experience, even if it's 5D, you are experiencing from a 3D lens. So, you can still detach from your twin flame and set yourself some time. Yeah, that was one of his first movies, wasn't it? That where he was a prince. I remember that one. Yes, Keita, it's hard to even look at another guy because when you meet someone of such intense connection, your whole life changes. And that's why the focus should be within you. Like, how can you become the best version of yourself without thinking about your person? And that is age old advice, even for any kind of connections. Even if it's like a normal connection, when there is a great level of detachment, the relationship becomes extremely healthy, even with soulmates, even with karmics. In fact, to be able to I have a message. Yes, MJ, I think I've answered a question. Ariel, I hope I've answered your question. Let me know if I haven't answered your question fully, because that's a very good question that she asked. You can detach from your twin even in 5D. Amy, every reading and even as I listen to my intuition, I just keep getting work on you and the rest will fall in place. I think my guides are getting so annoyed that I just haven't fully got there yet. Yes, your guides will get annoyed. In fact, you will get annoyed at yourself when you to not work on becoming the best version of yourself, because you are depriving yourself of this unique earth experience. And when you don't live your best life and spend or waste a lot of time dwelling and obsessing and yearning, and not spending time in working on yourself and evolving, you're just, it becomes detrimental to the soul, guys. That's why try to find joy in things in your present, if you have this perception that when I'm with my twin flame I'll be happier, when I'm with my twin flame I'll be content, when I'm with my person, then that is never going to happen, because you're constantly projecting yourself into the future and not living in the present. You can be happy regardless of union or separation. You can be with yourself and be in 100% contentment. Start loving yourself. Some people fear spending time by themselves. But think about this, even when you're with your twin, you're going to still spend time with yourself while you're sleeping, while doing things that you can only do by yourself. So have that, like, enjoy being independent, enjoy being with yourself, enjoy doing things by yourself as well, like traveling by yourself, enjoying things that you do by yourself. You do not need people all the time. Start doing that. It's very, very healthy, you know, to actually do things for yourself, and being like enjoying your own company. That is another way to hack the vibration and vibrate at a very high level. That's why being alone and loneliness are completely two different things. Loneliness, you're yearning for company. Being alone, you choose that experience, and that is a very, very soul transforming experience. A lot of enlightened masters would tell you the same as well. It's only in their when they are with themselves will they truly able to evolve. Okay, now I'm going to look at the questions. I Guys, if I missed any of your questions, just copy paste it again, because sometimes it doesn't refresh quite quickly on my end. Samantha, I gained weight when I stopped working on myself. Once we separated, I depended still on him. So now learning to do it. Yes, you can actually see a lot of differences. And thanks for sharing that, Samantha. Truly. So once you start loving yourself and working on yourself, you will see a lot of differences in your life. So thanks for sharing that with us. Yes, I've never had this with any other human. I got frustrated. Yeah, frustration is part of the journey and process as well. And that's why when you're by yourself, you learn to deal with all of this. All right. The twin flame journey has already started the moment souls sign up for the twin flame journey. So you can't really put a start date or an end date, because there is no start or end to the soul experience. Any messages for me tonight from my DM or the divine? Lorinda, you are doing well. Keep on living your best life. Keep on reading. Keep on enhancing yourself with good experiences, good literature, and things will all fall in track. Enjoy being with you. That's the message from divine for you. Becca, it's quite a process. Space is so important for discovery and growth of self. Yes, yes, Becca, exactly. And that's what today's topic has been about. Holy cow, the obsessive phase of this journey was completely maddening. It took some time to get to a place where I could function normally through the day. All I wanted to do was think about him. Yes, I mean, sometimes there's a certain joy that comes with thinking about your DM, but when it becomes negative, that's when you're going down. Instead of ascending, you're descending. So it's very technical and scientific if you were to look at it. But again, in order to even understand that, you need to vibrate from a certain level of experience, wisdom, and awakening, to understand that. And in order to understand that, you have to ascend, and you also have to descend. Not descend, you have to you have to start living from your soul. You have to start living from within, and be connected to the divine and start being independent, guys. That is empowerment, and that is the trend of the 21st century. Women becoming empowered. In the past, women couldn't be independent. Women couldn't even vote. So make use of what the world is offering right now to truly live your full blessed life. Do not step back, and do not let your ancestry or your ancestors or your DNA prevent you from living your best life. The time is now for you to fully expand, progress, do things that will enhance the planet, contributing, helping out, helping others. Do this because you guys are not limited anymore like the 18th century where women were bound to certain rules, like they were owned by men. That has changed now. Now you can live your best life, and that's what's beautiful. You become the best version of yourself. You become a superwoman, and you realize who you are, and that's what's going to make you beautiful and magical and completely divine. Lorinda, I used to get physical sacral pain and chest pain, actual heart pain at that stage. Yes, yes, yep. um it is, and it's actually a good indicator to say that your chakras are trying to expand as well, and that pain becomes very physical, and that's why detachment is very important. But sometimes you have to experience that in order to truly value detachment too. So you have to go through all this. So you can't avoid anything in a twin flame journey. You have to go through everything in order to experience the ultimate bliss and union with your divine masculine. Samantha, specifically for me, or Samantha, like your angels are so happy for you, and they are so proud at how you are and how you're handling life, and the way you navigate through challenges. And they want me to tell you that they're extremely proud of you, and they want you to continue living life to the fullest, finding joy in small things, and essentially living your best life. And yes, and you being you and appreciating your existence to the fullest. He told me since we met, and every time he's with me, he has this feeling he has to heal from past trauma. I laughed inside and winked at God. I see. I would love a message if anything comes through for me, please and thank you. Mindy, the messages I'm getting from your guides are to actually spend more me time on yourself, and to take a break, and to get a lot of rest when you can, and to also appreciate nature and the green. All this is going to make you feel better, and your angels are extremely happy with you where you are, and they are applauding you whenever you feel happy or you feel extremely happy about something. And like Bharati says, be your own best friend. That is the best thing you can do to yourself. Be your own best friend. I tell you, loving your own company is the best thing you can do for yourself, and truly enjoying your independence, not being bound by anything or anyone. That is like the greatest gift God can gift you is enjoying your own company and being your own best friend. Yes, it is. And you guys can watch my previous videos on the dark night of the souls, the do nots, and I have talked about what MJ is saying here. I thought I was dying when we stopped talking, and it felt like a literal heartache, and it was unreal. It is because one soul, that's what happens. And that's why if you start practicing detachment from very early stages, you'll be able to cope. But again, sometimes it's just unbearable. Twin flame separation is a pain like no other. You cannot compare that at all. Rather than, I love learning from you. I've learned so much. I've been working on me and been detaching as well. Do you feel anything from my DM with communicating any messages for me, and please and thank you. Your divine masculine wants you to know that you are doing great and that he admires you from afar and that he truly, truly loves everything about you. You know, your inner divinity, your external beauty, everything. So these are your messages from your DM. Hi Timothy, how are you doing? Good to see you. Lorinda, I knew I was obsessed, but couldn't do a damn thing about it before I figured out the connection. I chalked in being a only older gal. He's 9 years younger than me. Even apologized to him for being so neurotic. He just told me he could probably explain why, though he never did. He knew we had a special connection, and he has described twin flame union to me without any label. He doesn't exactly. You see, divine masculines actually um, get it right essentially because they don't put a label. To them, it's like usually when they meet their divine feminine, they really enjoy the first few moments, you know, like the first couple of months, it's all about getting to know, remembering. And then after that, they run because they are terrified at this intense telepathic connection and seeing themselves in another person, it freaks them out. And that's why they run often. Yeah, but you know, like what Lorinda says, the way it explained, it's so beautiful because it is so naive and pure. Because that's how they see it. Instead of putting a label and then all the pressure comes flowing in completely. Wow, and thank you so much. Thanks to my angel, they saved my life in my car accident. Oh, I'm so sorry at an accident, but I'm so glad your angels are always there, Samantha, looking out for you. Keith, the messages for you is to truly spend time in evolving and spending time with yourself and enjoying your independence. That's the messages I'm getting from your angels, to actually work on yourself and enjoy life. You know, that's what they're saying. And when you truly start experiencing that, everything will change and your life would be in alignment and your path will be in alignment as well. Ah, Tamara, your angels are extremely proud of you. You are ascending at a level there is no, like, there's no time and space, and you're activating a lot more soul gifts. So you're in to discovering more of yourself, Tamara, and enjoy the ride. That's what your angels want you to know, and they're always there for you. Just tune into them whenever you feel. And yes, you are in you're going to discover more of your hidden gifts and remember them. So it's a beautiful time in your life. So yes, go enjoy that, Tamara. It's going to be amazing. I think that's what leads me to fear sometimes. Yeah, we will definitely talk more about that, you know, twin flame, heartache, and separation at another time, because that is another topic that I'm thinking that I should revisit again as well. Yeah, you're so welcome for the beautiful messages. Zarana, yes, keep being you. In fact, the messages that I'm getting from your guides is to explore spiritual practices like yoga and meditation. They will definitely help you enhance life. Ah, Timothy, we are so dense. Am I missing out an earlier message? Oh dear, everything will be all right. Things will get better to start, but we can catch up. Lily, hello. Amy, he said it first. He said it was too intense to even sit next to me than being the girl I am labeled. Us as soulmates back before I knew anything about TF. I'm praying and looking up to my guides for guidance and continue to have faith. Um, Tasia, there is an intense soul DNA activation happening for you. So have a lot of rest and spend this time to truly rest and connect to divine. Those are my thoughts. Lorinda, he said how he understands or knows is when two individuals come together who are whole spiritually and energetically and create a third energy. Oh, yeah, yes, absolutely. Yes, that third energy is what I've been talking about. When two superhumans become one, they are completely glowing, like that glow. That's why when you see some twin flame couples who are in union, you can just tell them, you can see their aura and the glow. It's hard to miss. And I'm so glad your DM taught you so much. Oh, Amy, that is wonderful. All right. Again, that is a very important question you raised. People have this thing that once you're in union, you guys are not separable. But the truth is, if you guys don't work on yourself, even when you're in union, then you guys are going to fall back. So that's why it goes back to watching your vibrations constantly as well. And yes, like MJ is telling Amy, stay aligned with God and you'll be fine. So constantly. And guys, do send me your love reactions, and if you guys are interested in a paid private consultation, you can always look at my file. Then we can have more one-on-one time, and I offer a variety of readings, healings, services, so you can always check that out. And also, guys, if you have enjoyed today's video, feel free to leave some feedback on my feedback file. I'll be very grateful, and do react so that I know how many of you all are here. Thanks for that other person who reacted as well. So yeah, let me do more questions. Lily, any messages from my guides? Your guides want you to focus on your present life right now. Like, I feel like, they're saying that you're working on some really important things. So keep focusing on that, and you would definitely feel a lot of victory and success on the current projects you're working on. Oh, yes, Tamara, you have been putting in so much work. You're such an amazing soul, full of love, purity, and radiance. And I don't have to say more. You already know it for yourself. Radhana, do my guides have any message or guidance for me if you feel anything, love? Yes, your guides want you to know that you're always loved and they're always there for you, and you just have to connect with them to get their guidance and their messages. Oh, that's amazing, Tasia, that you guys are sharing such intense telepathy. Guys, I'm going to go on for another couple of minutes. So, any parting question, guys? And if I haven't answered your questions, uh, fill up the comments again, because like I said, sometimes it doesn't refresh. And I will join you guys next week again at this time. Oh, perfect, Lily. Ah, see, your angels are spot on. Oh, I'm so glad, Ariella, that you're all calm and you're happy, and divine is allowing this break. Yes, exactly. So that happens again, and oh, that's so it's interesting. Um, Soul shock. Twin flames experience this soul shock, and during that period, they don't have any kind of feeling and then they completely feel a detachment from their twin, and that can be a very scary experience, because you're like, I've been feeling my twin, and why am I? Because that happens because your divine masculine tends to disconnect as well. So do not worry, everything will be okay, and the connection will reconnect itself as well. So do not worry, everything will be all right, Ariella, and you do not have to be in a panic mode. Just trust in the divine, and I will talk about soul shock in one of my weekly topics, and then you will understand more about what happens in soul shock and the separation, because when there's an intense awakening or realization, then the DM wants to like separate completely, and then you would not feel them at all, and that can be very scary and panicky for divine feminines who are so connected with their divine masculines on a higher level. Oh, thank you, Radhana. You are so sweet. I really thank you, love. You're amazing. Your teachings are amazing. You need a podcast. Your guidance is appreciated. I would love to do a podcast. Let's see, maybe in the future, and I'll definitely keep you all updated. And thanks for that encouragement and motivation, Radhana. It means a lot, and it definitely inspires me to do better and come up with more interesting topics of discussion and share my 2 cents worth. MJ, if Vaishnavi has not done a twin flame check for you yet, we suggest you book one with her. You will be very surprised. In this group, we don't consider your flame unless you actually had a confirmation from Vaishnavi. She's our top DF psychic and gets the info from Angel and the Anushik Records. God bless. Thanks, MJ. Thanks a lot for that. You're so sweet. Oh, thanks, Amy. Thank you so much. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap up for today. You guys have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful weekend. And Mercury retrograde is going to be over soon. It's so funny because I was actually experiencing some technological glitches at work. And in the past, I would never pull it. I mean, I would never think it was because of Mercury retrograde. But now I'm like, I'll tell my colleagues, that it's Mercury retrograde. That's why the printer is doing this, or, we are not able to send out this or whatever. So it's quite interesting. So being aware of energies and being aware of your surroundings energetically enhances your life and brings a lot of clarity and understanding. So instead of like getting frustrated with the printer, you are like, you know what, energetically things are meant to be like that, or miscommunication or any kind of okay, I have to be very careful about my thoughts and my expressions with other people. So awareness is always key, guys. And also, thank you, Tamara. Thank you so much. Thank you, Lorinda. Oh, I would love to do this every night, maybe in the future. Let's see. So, guys, go label free, be independent, and remember, we are not living in the Stone Ages anymore. As women, we are not bound by anyone or anything. This is the best time to live your best life with your own choices, not being dictated by a husband or a father or a grandfather or any male figure. You are here to live your best life and be grateful to God and the divine for allowing us to incarnate in this beautiful time. Life would be hard, but always remember, when you pray to God and when you are connected to divine, everything will be okay, and you will always feel abundance flowing through your life. So guys, take care and have a splendid week, and I will see you all next week. Love you all so much, and thank you all for your loving, encouraging comments. In fact, it's your comments and reactions that inspire me to do better every week and to think. And thank you, MJ. Once again, we did a great topic, and thanks for inspiring this topic. MJ and I actually spent time discussing about this, and it really brings another dimension, to my lives, because we've talked about it and it's so fun to do this with you guys. So have a great week. Love you all and see you all soon. And if you guys are interested in a paid service, do not hesitate to DM me as well. Take care. Love you all. Bye bye.